Alright guys, so it is new product day for us, because of course as a store we get things a little bit early. That being said, I got a Karlov, Murders at Karlov Manor rip for you today. We are going to start off with a play booster to show off kind of the changes and everything for some of you who might not be aware, and then also just to kind of showcase the new product that has been given to us. The play boosters, for those that are unaware, are kind of a hybrid between a set booster pack and a draft pack. It is replacing both, so there will no longer be set boosters or draft boosters moving forward as the sets are released. You will have play boosters instead. There's still collector boosters, which I have a couple cases of over here that I will rip later on in the video, but I figured I would do the play booster real quick first, kind of show that off, do a little bit more of a lengthy process with this box, and then we'll get into these collector booster boxes, which will be easy because at that point we've looked at the commons and uncommons here in the play boosters, so we can just kind of savage rip that stuff and just show off the hits, just show off rares and mythics and like crazy alternate frame foils and stuff like that, and a serialized card or a few if possible. So flip the camera over here. This is what the boxes look like now. They say play booster here, so we're gonna crack into this and kind of show off the structure of the packs, and hopefully that gives all of you some sort of information going forward with how things are, especially because these are the packs that you guys are going to get in your pre-release kits this weekend when you show up at pre-release. Little box topper thing. Weird window. You're right, it is a weird window. Alright, so the boxes are 36 count boxes, just like draft boxes. The difference being is that there is not your regular quantity of cards in the box, though. So it's kind of odd. It even says on it, the best of draft and set boosters. So you guys might not be able to read that. Maybe I gotta zoom in just a tad. Let's go here. Yeah, now you guys can read where it says that. The best of draft and set boosters. So, sweet, they have pull tabs like the set boosters still too, which is good. Let's see the structure here on the pack. So, the first thing we have in here is a token. I believe that it can be a token or an art card, but we'll clarify that moving forward, and I'll lay the cards out here. Alright, we got our basic land. And then we have a foil uncommon. And then we have a rare. And then another uncommon. And then a third uncommon, second uncommon, a third uncommon, a fourth uncommon. So we have 4 uncommons. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 commons. Alright. So let's break down the structure of this here pack. 7 commons, which is what you're used to seeing in draft booster boxes. Yeah, 7 or 8. Maybe 8. I'm losing my mind because I don't open draft product very often, so I'm forgetting. And then we've got 1 foil, which is supposed to be a guaranteed foil in every pack. Our basic. We got a token. We don't care that the token is there. And then we got a rare. So, draftable cards out of the pack, and cards that are relative to limited play. the basic being excluded because in this set it's basics. There's no non-basics in that slot that I know of. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards. 14 with the land slot, which some of you that are used to limited play go, well, that's... Where's the last card? There's supposed to be 15 cards in a pack. You're right. In draft packs, there's supposed to be 15. In these new set packs, there's 15 with your token. But basically, they're shorting a card out of drafts. You will no longer have a 45 card pool to play through. You will have a 42 card pool to play through. Their logic and their argument is that they're eliminating the last, I believe, common out of the pack, which basically eliminates like the last pick. So like you're losing your last pick because your last pick wasn't that good and wasn't that relevant anyway, which you still end up with a last pick which wouldn't be that good, which wouldn't be relative anywhere. Yeah, okay. The logic doesn't math, but they figured out a way to eliminate draft boosters and set boosters because booster fun wasn't working because there was too many SKUs and too many items, and stores that weren't running limited events basically didn't order draft products, so they were just ending up with an abundance of this stuff. And this is not like just my opinion and I'm throwing it out there. If you go back and you read the statement made by Wizards of the Coast, I believe Mark Rosewater included in it, they state that stores were throttling the type and quantity of products that they were ordering and then opening and basically ignoring draft product except for a small quantity of shops that were running limited on a regular basis. Like, we run draft one time a week. We basically were ordering like a case of draft. And for the last few sets of doing that, we still have draft boxes left from some of these sets, knowing that we ran drafts on a regular basis of a weekly event. Like, once we got through probably 3 or 4 boxes of draft product, the players were done. They didn't want to draft the set anymore after they drafted 3 or 4 times, and they just didn't care to continue to draft it. So we just had a couple of boxes laying around, which lined up perfect. If we had a larger draft community here and we were drafting 2-3 times a week, clearly we would order more draft product. Meanwhile, we were running rampant through set product. Everybody wanted to open it for their collections. We were opening it for product for the store. This is their answer to eliminating basically us having to order draft and set, is to be like, it's one box now. So we'll go through the packs. We'll see what's kind of weird and different, because I know that there's still list cards, which now have been replaced. It's still the list, and it's still a small quantity of cards, but now they're called special guests. And we'll see what the frequency is on what slots here. So, again, we ended up with 7 commons, 4 uncommons, 1 rare, 1 foil, 1 basic, and then a token. So we'll rip another pack and kind of talk about this some more as we go through it. So here's our token. Here's our basic. I'm going to lay these out the same way that I did before. So here's our basic. Here's our token. Here's our foil, which is a common this time. Here's our rare. And then 1, 2, 3 uncommons this time around, not 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 commons this time. So in this pack we got an extra common instead of an uncommon. We still got a showcase common, which we did in the first pack. But now we're looking at a pack that has still 14 playable cards out of here. 13 when we're being realistic, because this is a land slot, and specifically for this set, your basic land's not going to matter. I even know that for the most part in drafts, we tell the players, open your pack, take your token, take your basic out, start to making your picks and passing your cards. As long as there's not a non-basic in the basic slot, usually go take your basic land out. So unless I come across some non-basics here, you're drafting a 13 card pack. So to be realistic, you're getting a 39 card play pool, and you still have to build a 40 card deck. So you're looking at somewhere around 23 to 25 playables, depending on what your curve is like. Out of 45 cards, that wasn't bad. You had roughly 20 to 22 cards extra, which gave you the opportunity to, when you weren't drafting at high competitive levels, to take a card with value in it to kind of pad the fact that you paid to draft and you are going to leave with these cards. That window gets smaller and smaller. Now, that being said, with play boosters and collector's boosters, maybe the price of cards don't have this hard fluctuation anymore because there's less of it open, because stores aren't going to open just an absurd amount of set N collectors. They might throttle back on how many play boosters they open as well for singles. I know that we're still opening roughly the same amount of the boys are over there doing the in-store stuff. We're still opening roughly the same amount of play boosters as we were draft boosters prior to this switch happening. So we'll keep going on these packs. We'll go slow for a little bit and kind of chat about it and see if anything random happens. I want to see where the special get. Oh, here we go. Here's a pack that's got no token. It's got an art card instead. So we have an art card in place of the token, which most people don't care. And then, oh, here we go. We have a list card. So this is an actual list card. I thought they weren't going to do list cards anymore. It was going to be the secret, the special guest. So we'll figure out where in the mix this ends up being. So we'll put the list card here for the moment. We have our foil. We have our rare/mythic. We have a second rare mythic. And then 1, 2, 3 uncommons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 commons. Alright. So, now we got some adjusted here yet again. So, we've lost 2 of our commons in place of a list card and a second rare. So, now we're in a situation where they're replacing common slots with some of the other hits and some of the other slots. Maybe that was the reasoning behind the 4th uncommon in the first pack that must have replaced one of the common slots. So we're looking at a situation where not only that, but now we have list cards that are going to be legal for limited. So this Quintoris Field Historian, while it's not a terribly good card, it's going to be legal in your pool. For this set, it's fantastic because you have the it's not disguise, it is, what is the, it's not on any of these cards. collect. Oh, here it is. It's on this one. Collect evidence. Exile cards with total mana value X, where X or greater from your graveyard, where X is the collect evidence cost. So, like, this is a bomb in your pool if you are going to draft cards to collect evidence, because it'll just make a bunch of creature tokens, a bunch of 3/2 spirits that will also get +1/+0. So this is the other thing that you have to look at and think about now is, like, what list cards are in the set, and how often is a list card going to get opened into the pool for us as players. Am I going to open the list cards? So am I going to get something crazy like, I know some of the list cards prior were like Vampiric Tutors and Renin 6s and Snapcaster Mages, Anointed Procession. Like, a lot of the list cards are kind of medium, kind of mediocre. And then the special guests, I believe, are also in the list slot as well. And some of those cards are, like, absurdly good. I mean, Crashing Footfalls is one of them, and it's a good card even if you spend it on turn 1. Just because limited, you're going to get far enough on turns, and nobody's opening a Chalice. Unless, of course, it's special guest or it's on the list. So you have this odd limited pool build around with the list cards. You kind of have to pay attention to, like, what list cards are available in the set now for limited, which seems a little it seems like it's unnecessary. Let's be realistic. The whole purpose of the list cards is to put reprints into circulation that need to be in circulation, and the majority of the list cards people don't like and are really crap. And basically what it's done is it's eliminated an entire set through the year, because if you do the math on all of the cards that are added to the list, they probably could have ended up just releasing a Masters product for the year, and they don't. They just release a bunch of stuff on the list, but then they still release a Masters product at some point during the year, whether it be Double Masters or Commander Masters or Masters of the Universe, and whatever it is. So they're basically releasing another product's worth of cards on the list across the rest of the products. So another art card, basic, our foil, our rare, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got a replacement common with an uncommon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have 7 commons. So I have a feeling that this is going to be the structure that will see the most out of play boosters, is that you'll end up with 1 rare, you'll end up with 1 foil. We don't know what that rarity is going to be on the foil. It'll probably end up being close to when your open set booster packs were, for the most of the part, it was a non-rare or non-mythic, and it was a common or an uncommon. And then one of these common slots for the majority of the time is probably going to end up being an additional uncommon. So you end up in a situation where you end up with more bombs or more powerful cards, because usually the uncommons in limited tend to be, I mean, for the most part, uncommons are drafted over rares even most of the time, just because the rares sometimes are really bad, even for limited. And then the uncommons really make or break limited for playability. So I have a feeling that your drafts are going to be more powerful. They are going to be more heavily skewed into top-end situations, or maybe even like powerful bombs and whatnot, or just super heavy removal spells. All right, now we have a foil land, so we'll see what that does to the mix. We have a foil. We have our rare. We have a second rare on this pack. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So yeah, looks to be that one of your common slots, a good amount of the time, is going to end up becoming a rare or an uncommon. If it's not a list card. That's definitely going to skew the power level. Like this pack, we got 2 rares. Granted, one of them is a land, but fixing is big. And then our foil is an uncommon, so 4 uncommons, and then 7 commons. There's definitely going to be a structure situation with things being a little bit skewed power wise. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We're definitely going to look at the set from. We'll get good feedback from people, both from your pre-release, from opening these packs, and then also from our own draft community here. It's going to be really interesting for pack wars, though, because a lot of the guys do pack wars in Pygow, and you don't have enough cards for a Pygow now. Alright, we got a foil rare and our rare. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 uncommons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 commons. So we ended up with an extra uncommon in this one. But then yeah, that math for Pygow sucks too. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How do you do a Pygow now? Because you don't have a 15 card. You can't Pygow anymore. 14 is bad math. You can't make 5 piles. That kind of sucks. I don't know. This is definitely going to be weird. It's going to be an odd situation. We also were like 5 or 6 packs in, out of like 20 minutes. This is definitely going to be odd with the structure on these packs. Somebody just wandered into my office. Who's this?
First pack, first card he pulled. Invisible ink.
First pack, first card pulled out of the shop. A Massacre Girl, Unknown Killer, alternate art with the invisible ink. It's really hard to see it. I'll see if I can get it close to the camera. You can barely make out her daggers in the text box. Just barely, but apparently this is supposed to show up under UV with a bunch of stuff on it, but yeah. See, they're over there ripping the product. I'm over here ripping and talking about the product, so that'll be something. Token, basic, rare, or no, foil, rare, second rare, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Hey. Excuse me, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so this seems to be that this is the most consistent breakdown is you're going to end up with an extra uncommon or an extra rare in place of that 8th common. Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting set for limited. It's going to be something. Let's pick up the pace just a little bit. I'm going to try to rip this box in the next 30-ish minutes. Oh, all right. Here we go. We have a Gamble, which is our list card. So yeah, this is an interesting pack. Because now we have a gamble in here. So we have an extra rare / mythic in our list spot. I'm curious if we can hit a second rare in this spot and still get a list card. And then if the list card can be a rare, and then our foil is a rare, and then we end up with 4 rares or mythics out of 1 pack. It's going to feel really weird, and it's going to be... Hopefully it'll be a situation where, like, somebody rips, like, the chase rare or mythic in both the foil and non-foil spot, and then, like, the best list card out of a pack. You end up with, like, basically a god pack. I know that some of you might not be old enough or been playing long enough to remember the god packs from Theros block. Here we go. 4 uncommons again. Yeah, 4 uncommons, 7 commons. Yeah, I think this is going to be the biggest structure situation. Is, again, either the extra rare or the extra uncommon is going to end up being the situation that we're in. So, that being said, this just waiting for like one of the like random crazy packs. But yeah, it seems okay. This is our new token structure situation. So we have suspect and case solve tokens, flying -1 poison, and then stun +1s and unlock. What is the unlock for? There's got to be something with unlock, but I don't remember what it is. But like the case solved and the suspect makes sense. I'm looking forward to. I'm sure that RK Post will make tokens for that stuff, and I will buy them because I'm an animal and I buy all this stuff. So this is one of our 8 commons packs. So this ends up being like, I feel like when you open the 8 commons, you almost feel like you got shorted. Because, like, you're opening 8 commons, and the guy next to you is possibly opening 3 rares or mythics. Which, when the math adds up, that feels bad. Yeah, here's another 8 commons. So, just kind of getting a structure here for you guys to show off, like, what the distribution is on the situation and what you're going to be looking at and being aware for moving forward in the limited environment with these packs. I mean, even if you aren't one of those people that buys collector product to open, you used to buy set product. This is a replacement for your set product, is this product here. So like, you're not going to be opening set booster product, you're going to be opening this. So this is what you have to kind of gauge yourself on. Is, I know a lot of the set booster packs had multiple rares in it and it was pretty frequent. We haven't had a ton. We've had like 2 out of, this is 11. I'm going to open the 12th one. So, like, we have 2 packs. 3 packs, because we had the list / special guest that was also a mythic. But, like, you can't guarantee that slot is going to be rare mythic. So here, list card, 3 uncommons, 7 commons. Our list card is an uncommon, so again, you're 1 rare. So if you're opening this for your collection and to build card pool, you're not opening as many rares as you would be opening sets. And I don't know, I feel like I get what Wizards was trying to do, but for so long now with set products, you're conditioning players to have this product that's for ripping for their collection to build things, and you're taking that away in order to better your limited playability of a set, but yet your limited playability of the set isn't as good anymore because you're missing cards out of the play pool now. That being said, you still are in this situation where, like, what's the alternate here? The alternate is you continue to have set and draft boosters, and stores get burnt on purchasing of product for the store for SKUs and end up with quote-unquote dead product that we can't sell and we don't have a use for. And then you as players also are like, what am I going to buy? All right, well, I want to draft with the boys, so I guess I got to buy a draft box. But then I got all this crap that I don't want. So, like, what am I going to do with all these commons and uncommons that don't mean anything to me? Well, maybe we'll just go to the shop and draft there. That way I don't have all this stuff at the house. And I don't have to fork out all the money up front for myself. And I'll just buy a set booster box. Well, set booster boxes are a little bit more expensive. And that's the other thing. Let's talk about price real quick while I'm keeping on ripping this stuff. These play boosters, this is more than a set booster. So that was the other thing that WotC was able to do. WotC went, we're going to give you set booster packs with an extra 1 or 2 commons in it, and we're going to charge you more than a set booster is. And we were like, you're going to do what? How are you going to... We got a list card. How are you going to give the people less cards and charge more for it? Oh, well, the possibility that you'll hit multiple rares and whatnot will make up for the cost of the product. What? I'm telling you this right now. Play boosters cost the same as a set booster in the shop. But the boxes cost more because there's more packs in them. So the days of walking into your LGS and grabbing a draft box for $125, $135 are gone because there is no draft booster boxes anymore. And you can't go in and buy a set booster box for a couple of bucks more, like $10 more, because the set booster boxes are gone. So you've got packs that you're supposed to draft with that cost as much as a set booster. So drafts go up in price. These are also in your pre-release kits, so your pre-releases are going to go up in price. So don't think that you're going to be wandering into your store this weekend and doing $25 pre-releases, because you can't. The cost on the pre-release kit is more than that now, which means you're definitely going to be paying more than that now. And if you're at one of those stores that does like I know back in the day there was a couple of shops that did like, oh, when you play in the pre-release, you also get like a soda and a pack of sleeves and a snack or something like that. And like you're like, oh, this is a dope deal. I'll go back to this store and I'll do it. That price is probably because everything's gone up in price as well. Whether it's the sleeves from the distributor, even because they usually gave out the cheap ones. But like sodas and snacks have gone up in price. Everything's gone up grocery wise too. So like the cost of playing Magic the Gathering, especially from a limited standpoint, whether that is either via draft or pre-release, has gone up significantly. So now with Wizards of the Coast also changing to basically forcing you into these play boosters, your cost of playing the game has increased as well, and not by a small amount. Your cost to play has gone up. You're not going to see $15 drafts anymore, or like $18 drafts, because the price of a pack is $6. You're going to be looking at like $20, $25 drafts if you want there to be any kind of structure for a prize pool there. I mean, damn close to $25 for a draft that has like one prize pack in the prize pool. Now, that being said, I'm looking at it from what we sell product for. You're going to have stores that don't want to break their old ways, and they're like $15 drafts all day, every day. Cool. Don't expect that store to be open very long. Because with the cost of product increasing, if they continue to do $15 drafts and throwing a pack in the prize pool, these packs cost like, we sell these packs for like $6, $7 a piece. I know what the packs cost. When we break down the cost of a box across 36. When you start giving things away because you're losing money, but you don't think about it, your store doesn't stay open very long. So like, you as a consumer, as a player, you're going to be like, man, why is this so much more expensive now? Or why is this cost this when it was this much a month ago? Or last week? And you go, because unfortunately, Wizards of the Coast is a little bit more greedier, and the distributors are a little bit more greedier, and look, everything is increased. So, unfortunately, that cost falls on you as the consumer, because if it falls on us as the store and we eat the cost, we won't be here. You will be quick to the wayside. I'm just going to continue opening these packs, laying things out how we have been laying them out for zoning on stuff, so that you guys can get an idea of like what the structure is. That was the whole point in doing this play booster box, was not to be like, oh, look at what cool stuff we opened. It was to lay out the kind of the structure of how these packs are opening as. Because I have 3 cases of collector booster boxes that we're going to rip after I take a short break to go eat lunch. Those are going to be where I'm like, oh, we got borderless this, or we got alternate art that, or we opened the secret invisible ink cards and stuff like that'll all come in a little bit in the video, and I'll get Ashton to figure out in the editing how to add annotations so that if you don't care about the set booster product and you just want to see the savage rips, you can shoot past it. Token for mysterious creature. Double rare. 3 uncommon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. tokens again. We've talked about the structure of the packs. We've talked about pricing and structure being restructured. We talked about the reasonings behind the switches and stuff like that, and everything that's happened and what is happening and stuff like that. Oh man, they're almost easier to open by pulling the back instead of pulling the pull tab. So that all being said, oh great, let's go in the basic box anyway. Nobody cares. Let's talk about some mechanics of the set. And things of that sort. Because this is a prime opportunity to do that while I rip this last 16 or so, like almost half box. We can talk about some of the mechanics of that. So returning mechanics clearly is investigate. That's a given. There is no way that you were going to do a murder mystery style set and not make clue tokens. So investigate was gonna come back. The easy, if you're pseudo new to Magic, so you're not terribly familiar with investigate. Investigate is the wording used for create a clue token or create however many clue tokens. And then clue tokens are colorless artifact tokens with the ability of pay 2 mana, sacrifice, draw a card. We got a 3 rare pack here. All on color for the most part too. If you're drafting more, don't. Yeah, so you pay 3 or pay 2, tap, sack to draw a card is what clues do. And you investigating is short for create so many clue tokens. You just investigate X. So we knew that mechanic was going to come back, which is fair. It's not a bad mechanic. Clue tokens are pretty decent. Another returning mechanic is Surveil, which they put on lands. We have more draftable, or not draftable. We have more fetchable dual color sources. This helps for standard. Granted, they do come into play tapped, but they surveil one. Surveil is look at the top X cards in your library. You may put those cards back in any order or in your graveyard. And then it has a value, whether it be 1 or it's X with a condition being the amount for X, or 2 or 4 or 7 or whatever number it is. And then new mechanics, which, let's be realistic, are they really new? Let's talk about the one that is absolutely, in my opinion, dumb to be a new mechanic, and that is, oh, perfect. Right here on this card here, we have Disguise. So, Disguise is Morph. You pay 3, you play the creature face down. It's a 2/2 with no names, but they've given the creature ward 2. So your face down creatures, if they are disguised creatures or they are cloaked, cloaking is the same as manifest, where you take a card from a zone and you put it face down on the table as a 2/2 creature with no name, no typing, so on and so forth. But they've stapled ward 2 to these cards. Now, in my opinion, you could have errated Morph. You could have said, hey, Morph is not good enough anymore, so we're going to change Morph, and we're going to change Manifest, and we are introducing it in this set, and this is how it's going to be going on, moving forward, because the ward is in the reminder text for Disguise, So you could update the text for Morph as far as from a ruling standpoint and give all of the cards Ward 2. I know that somebody asked Mark Rosewater on Blogatog, well, with Disguise being a thing and Cloak being a thing, will we ever get Morph or Mega Morph or Manifest back again? And his answer was, not likely. And I advise you play all of your Morph and Manifest cards at home casually in your cubes and whatnot as though they have Ward 2. So if you're going to tell people to basically errata the rules themselves or rule zero them casually, just update the rule. Instead of Disguise, instead of Cloak, just reprint Morph and Manifest and update it so that in their rules text the creature has Morph. That doesn't seem unrealistic to me. That being said, it's really unrelevant. There's almost no creatures in competitive play that have Morph or have Manifest that are getting play. Outside of pre-modern, which is not a sanctioned by WotC format anyway, so it doesn't really matter to WotC. And it also doesn't matter to the rules committee for pre-modern. Basically, pre-modern, if you're unaware of it, is 6th edition through Scourge with its own small ban list. It's a fixed format. Cards can't be added to it, can't be printed into it. And it is a community-driven format that is basically a big middle finger to WotC because it's people who are old heads like me who love the game but hate the direction that it's going in. Not that I hate the direction that it's going in. I like Magic and I like how things are happening, and I think the power level is a little iffy and some things need to be updated and stuff like that, but for the most part, like, new cards and whatnot, the only thing that I stress is like how frequently we get sets, which I think is a little bit absurd. It's a little too frequent and it's kind of annoying. But other than that, I think it's fine. That being said, you do have some of the old heads that are just like, I hate Magic, what it's doing, and Commander decks are dumb, and this, that, and the other thing. It's fine. Opinions are opinions, and you can think and feel however you want about anything. And I have the right to ignore your opinion if I don't give a damn about it. So there's that. Another double rare pack. So that being said, I think that the Disguise and Cloak, while they are cool names for the mechanic that fit the murder, mystery, clue theme of the set, could have just been a rules text update. Could have just reprinted Morph and Manifest. It probably would have been easier. And they've errated plenty of things mechanic-wise. They errated Companion, how that works by adding the pay 3 to take it from the Companion zone and put it in your hand before you cast it. They've errated creature types and whatnot in the past, and moving forward they probably will again. So I don't feel like it would have been terribly hard to update Morph and Manifest to include moving forward that the face down creatures have Ward 2. I don't think that would have been a problem. I think it would have been easy, and I think it also would have made for a better aspect to the game, because now you have to keep track of, because these creatures are all playable in Eternal formats, and you have creatures that really care about playing Morph and stuff like that. For instance, like a lot of Animar Morph decks in EDH, you're going to want to play some of these new disguise cards in the deck, and now you got to keep track of, well, these things are morphs, and these things are disguised, and this thing is manifested, and this one is cloaked, so these ones have wards, and these ones don't, and like that, it's going to suck. And then Mark Rosewater's answer to that being like, just play everything with ward. Cool, that's a rule zero situation. You have to discuss that with the table and go, hey, is it okay if I play all of my morph creatures and disguise creatures and manifest creatures and cloak creatures the same as though they all have ward too? And all it takes is one person at the table going like, no, those are two different abilities. For you to be like, okay, well, I guess I won't play this deck. Or you to be like, all right, well, I guess I have to keep track of what is what. This is really annoying. So, like, could have been done easier, could have been done better. And, alright, so, surveil, clues. We'll get to the, I just did that backwards. We'll get to the last ability on new abilities on the cards. Oh, the split cards are back and they don't have fuse, so that's a thing. Talked about disguise / cloak. So the last mechanic in the set is, what is it? Collect evidence. All right, so collect evidence is a new mechanic in the set, and it's similar to delve, only instead of delving a amount of cards, you're delving a mana value or CMC of cards. So let's see if we can find one of the cards with collect evidence on it. Land cycling is in here too. Investigate. Come on, give me something that's got some evidence. The evidence is we don't have a lot of packs left, and I can have lunch. Password for that. So, we'll find a card with collect evidence. Oh, we'll talk about this real quick. Let's find a card with collect evidence on it and talk about that. And then we'll talk about cases. God. Oh. And we'll talk about suspect as well. Jesus. There's a lot more cards, a lot more abilities than I thought there was. So see if we can find something that's got evidence on it. Nickelodeon. Here we go. Collect evidence, which has no reminder text on it. All right, so collect evidence is you collect evidence is you exile cards from your graveyard with mana value equal to whatever the collect evidence cost is. So it's not a... It's like Delve. So like Delve is you exile cards equal to the Delve cost. Collect evidence, you exile mana value equal to the collect evidence cost. So if it's collect evidence 5, you can go 2-drop, 2-drop, 1-drop. Alright, exile these. I've collected evidence 5. You can also overpay for collect evidence. So you can discard, exile these 2 cards. You've collected evidence 6, but you only need to collect evidence 5. You can't underpay for collect evidence. You can overpay for collect evidence, which may or not be relevant moving forward, because you'll be in a situation where, like, you're collecting... You could use it to collect evidence and move more cards from your graveyard to exile than you technically need to for some other situation. Whether you're trying to get cards out of your graveyard to meet effects otherwise stated on other cards, or if you want them for whatever reason.
Just put that in there.
Okay. You got another list card. So, collecting evidence. Got another rare here. I really wish that we would open a damn card that had collect evidence on it. But I guess not today. Not today, Satan. Not today. We'll figure it out. We got 4 more packs. So that's collect evidence. Like I said, it's close to Delve, but it's not Delve. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. And then we have, after collect evidence, I mentioned we have cases. So let's talk about cases really quick. And of course, once I start talking about cases, we'll end up opening a card that has evidence on it. So cases are a new type of enchantment. Think not sagas, because sagas kind of do their own thing and you always continue to move them forward. It's similar to classes from the Forgotten Realms, where it has an effect, and then when you meet a requirement or pay a cost, it has a follow-up effect on it. So the way that the cases work is it has an ability. I'm being handed another invisible ink card.
That's the best one, I think.
Anzarag the Quake Mole. What is in his text box? What the hell is that? I think it's just rubble. Is it just rubble in there? It's very hard to see this stuff. Like, unless in person, I guess it's not. It's like a watermark that's very hard to see. The foiling process on the portion of the card, on like his art and like the top of the framing, very wet looking, almost from the vault. For all you old heads that remember from the vault, it's very similar to that foiling process. But going back to this, you have an effect that is given by your enchantment, and then you have a requirement that has to be met, which is to solve. And then when you solve this, it has an effect. So it has an effect when it's still a mystery, basically a case, a mystery. And then when you solve the case, when you solve the mystery, you move on to having a secondary effect with this. Unlike sagas, these won't sacrifice. So they, like I said, they're closer to the classes from Forgotten Realms instead of classes or sagas. So there's that. So what is the last ability in this damn set? We've taken care of disguise / morph. Done the investigate thing. There was something else. There's too many bills. Suspect. Alright. So we'll talk about suspect real quick. So suspect is an effect that you put on a creature. They are suspected. If a creature is suspected, they have menace, and they cannot block. So it's similar to, I'd say it's similar to Unleash from Return to Ravnica block, which was the Rakdos ability. Unleash was you could put a +1/+1 counter. You would put X amount of +1/+1 counters on it, and then the creature couldn't block. This is kind of similar. It's really easy to learn these abilities if you associate them to past abilities, because WotC doesn't come up with anything unique. They just regurgitate and reprint their abilities over. Everything is kicker or horsemanship, if you know that meme. So suspect is menace and unblockable on a creature. Menace and cannot be blocked on a creature, which is very similar to Unleash, which was so many +1/+1 counters and then it couldn't block. So there's that. So we're still ripping these packs, showing off the ratios on commons to uncommons to rares mythics and stuff like that. Just to kind of give you guys an idea of what your ratios are going to be. We're going to open this last pack real quick, and then I'm going to cut out for a moment. You'll have an editing transition, and then I will come back with some collector booster products, and we will get Savage in here ripping for the fences, and we're going to try to see what we can open. But here's the last of the last pack. Again, you can run back through the video and kind of see how the ratios are going, but it seems to be the majority of them are going to be an extra uncommon. Every once in a while, that uncommon will end up being a rare instead. It's very rare that you will get both. The list cards do pop up occasionally, but not as much as we thought they were, as I assumed they were going to be. I think we only ended up with 4 list cards, including one special guest, so in one box. So 4 or 5 times where you end up with a card that is not technically in, that is, don't say technically, that's not in the set. It's not. It's a full random reprint that's just shoved in there. Most of them bad. So it doesn't really make sense why the hell they would do them when they could just put the special guest card in the collector's product and call it a day and not mess with the play boosters at all. It's just, it's so fucking annoying. And this is the thing. It took us a few years of draft N set in order for them to kind of realize that it was a bad idea and then fix it, which means we're going to have a couple of years of this bullshit of play boosters, and if it's not structured correctly, or things are not working, or things don't make sense, we've got a couple years of dealing with it before WotC can internalize and figure out how to restructure and fix it yet again. It's fucking annoying. That being said, it's been about an hour, give or take, for that one box. I'm gonna grab a bite. We'll do a small transition. I'll come back. I got 3 cases of collectors. So 6, 12, 20, 18. 18 collector booster boxes. We're going to rip them. I'm going to put the sorting tray out here. We're going to get savage. It's going to be very similar to Ravnica Remastered, where we're going to whose line is it anyway. The commons and uncommons don't matter, and the points don't mean shit. We're looking for the hits. We're looking to see how crazy we can get. We're going to hope for some serialized. We're going to hope for some more invisible ink cards. I got 2 of them sitting here that the boys have ripped. But I'm going to go over there, chat with the boys, talk to them about the structure of play boosters so that they have all the information that you guys now have that I have kind of looked at by opening them. And I'll be back shortly.